Hello, I'm Sensitive Savage, and today we're going to do a breakdown of Meet the Grams, Kendrick's Meet the Grams diss track. Meet the Grams was one of my favorite surgical dismantling and exposing disorder, family dysfunctions of Drake. And it strategically explains how he came to be in Kendrick's interpretation. Meet the Grams, the same title similar title as Meet the Parents. I think it's a play on Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents sounds like something interesting, fun, and hey, exciting. We're doing an introduction of this family on the surface, but it turns quite dark, if you will, quickly. So it escalates quickly. This is, to me, Kendrick being an interventionist. This is an intervention. When I first heard it, I pictured everyone sitting. Kendrick goes back and forth in the third person voice and the second person voice, where he speaks directly at each member. And the job of an interventionist, and when you hold an interventionist because things have gone too far, and a job of an interventionist is to show you, it's like a mirror, to show you this is what you're going through, this is how you're destroying yourself, and denials, addictions, and disorders. So Kendrick, in his interpretation, feels like there's a lot of disorder, a lot of dysfunction that made Drake who he is today. He talks to the people that created Drake directly, and no holds bar. This Meet the Grams is an important diss track and an important song because it talks about generational trauma that gets passed on, that gets inherited. He wasn't trying to create just a diss track. He was trying to create something that cannot be shaken off, that expose the stain in Drake's legacy that he created himself. And the sound and the beat is eerie. It's like Kendrick is tiptoeing through Drake's nightmares, if you will. Looking at this cover art, I'm sorry, I found Meet the Grams, I laughed several points in Meet the Grams, because it was just so outrageous and outrageously good. With the cover art, this was diabolical, with the medication bottles, with Drake's name and a shirt and a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. And what represents the glove, it's an ironic twist to that, meaning like Kendrick is going to destroy something and dismantle something that needs to be dismantled in his eyes. Also, we see receipts of outrageous purchases of jewelry and some other things. The Ozempic, and it talks about it. This is like a representation of everything he's going to talk about. And also with love, it's like, destroying the culture. Someone's destroying the culture. It could represent Drake being a culture vulture, and that he has been gotten away with it for a while. Also, if you look at it simultaneously that way as well. So that is the cover, and that's a synopsis of the whole diss track. That's like a reflection, a quick glance, the trailer. So if we start with the lyrics, if we start here with Dear Adonis. I think that Kendrick started with Adonis because that is the most important person right now. That is Drake's direct legacy. That is who, has next, is passing on the family name. And he still has a chance that has not been fully raised. He has a chance to intervene and teach him things that Drake was not or is not able to teach him. So, Kendrick starts off as a friend, a mentor, and then it quickly elevates when he says, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsive. He's not responsive. He's not responsible. I look at him and wish if grandpa would have wore a condom. That is dark because that means he wouldn't have been here. Adonis would not have been here. And it also means that, or if you believe in energy, Adonis' soul would have been born from a different person, a different father. He would have had a different life, etc. I'm sorry that you got to grow up and stand behind them. Life is already hard, but it's going to be more challenging, is what Kendrick is insinuating. When you have parents that make mistakes and have not fully grown up, have not matured, and they're supposed to be the ones raising you. He also goes on saying, you're a good kid that needs good leadership, because he wants him. I think Kendrick wants him to, he loves kids to inspire kids to be leaders of tomorrow, to be positive, and to do everything or anything that they can do. Let me be your mentor, since your daddy can't teach you ish. Okay, your daddy's not gonna do it. Never let a man piss on your leg. This was absolutely unreal, unfathomable. I cannot believe a grown man would allow another man and just walk home and just be like, okay, so I have to change. This is just disturbing. So either you die right there, or pop that man in the, you unalive right there, or pop that man in the head, son. Never fall into the escort business. Bad religion. So basically this whole thing is saying, be the opposite of your dad. Remember, you could be a bitch even if you got bitches, which is true. Never code switch. So it's also insinuating that Drake acts like one, with the selfies, the duck lips, the, all the stuff that he does, competing in the mirror with sexy red. Never code switch, whether it's right or wrong. You're a black man. Now, here's where I like that he said that, because he is biracial, but he still, because a lot of people were saying that Kendrick was, they were discrediting Kendrick and saying he has a biracial partner, but yet, he considers her to be black, but he doesn't consider Drake's son. He does consider his son, and he just this was a myth buster of what people believe. Even if you don't benefit from it, do your push. So don't code switch. Be your true authentic self. If Drake would have been his authentic self, we would have accepted him. We would have been like, this is a nerdy kid, or nice guy, or whatever. He doesn't write. If he has writers, but he's a good performer, and we would have left it at that. He would have lived a peaceful life. Do some push-ups, get some discipline. Don't cut corners like your daddy did, and forget Ozempic. Don't do Ozempic. These are listing so many things, and some people use Ozempic respectfully, for health issues and things. But the way he's painting the picture is shortcuts. Drake likes to do shortcuts. It's like a persona, making himself created. I've always said that Drake was created like in a lab. Drake the rapper, the aesthetics, the hair, the this, the and money. He used money in a way to cosplay different cultural aspects. Don't pay to play with them Brazilians. Imagine that. Get a gym membership. Solid advice. Understand no throwing rocks and hiding your hands. J. Cole, right? So that's law. Stand on business. Be a man. He's literally giving him the box set package. Open this, later on you could use all this advice through life, all of it. Exercise, health, don't be weird with women. So don't be ashamed of who don't be ashamed about who you with. That's how he treats your mom. Because Drake was hiding a child, hiding a partner, it's like he wants to keep things under wrap. Paying this one, paying the other one. Like, here's your hush money, because I don't want to be a part of whatever, and I know money will make you happy. That's not respecting a child or the parent that wants the father. Some of the parents, some of the mothers might want Drake to be in the kid's life if this was true. Don't have a kid to hide a kid. Be sure 5% will comprehend. Most of the people will not understand Meet the Grams. And a lot of people that say, oh my God, it was terrible or whatever, it went over their head. Kendrick already knew this, that they're not going to understand. But the people that have discernment will understand that this was a massacre. Be proud of who you are. Your strength comes from within. A lot of superstars that's real, but your daddy is not one of them. Lord have mercy. You'll carry yourself as king. Be different, because a king stands on business. A king is ready for war to protect his own. Can't understand right now. Just play this when you're 18. So he has written a piece in time that is timeless, and that Adonis will see it. And even if he doesn't understand it at 18, or he's a knucklehead, this is an everlasting impression, that sometime in his life, when he is mature enough, he's going to go back to this and refer to this. And some of it will resonate, or maybe there's a chance that he will admit and see the comparison of what a real man is and versus what his dad. He's going to take a second look at his dad if he has matured. The second verse is, Dear Sandra. He basically attacks the parents here, saying they did a horrible job. They dropped the ball. Parenting doesn't come with a manual, but you do the best you can and you learn from mistakes. And he's criticizing how they both raised him, whether Drake's father was in his life or not. Your son got some habits. I hope you don't undermine them. And the fact that he says this shows that she might have been an enabler. Oh, yeah, she saw the signs, because a parent knows. You know what kind of kid you have. You can see if they, she's an enabler, allegedly, okay? And one example of this is when they sued Degrassi because he didn't want to be in the wheelchair or whatever. And the mom went through it. He's a kid. He can't really sue like that. He needs representation, and the mom was for it. So that's, and that line is very important. Don't undermine them. You've undermined them long enough, especially with all the girls that's hurt inside the climate, he says. You're a woman, so you know how it feels to be in alignment with your emotion. This is, mentioning divine feminine. A divine feminine is the highest level of femininity. She is in contact, in connection with her emotions. She has control of her emotions. She's loving, caring, and balanced, mature emotions. Hoping a man can see you and not be blinded. Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator, using you to prove who he is, using you for your blackness, Dennis. It's like, okay, look, this is proof that I'm black. I can say the N-word. And he says, I think you should ask for more paper, because it's believed that Dennis was not in Drake's life as much. There was some discrepancies in the way he was raised, or he wasn't in connection with him as much. We now see him visually more, that Drake made it, that Drake's a millionaire. And what do we see Dennis? Turning up most of the time. He doesn't want to talk when paparazzi interviews. He doesn't have opinions. He's like, whatever. He just is very dismissive. In general, doesn't want to do interviews as much. So he's just there for a good time at his age, respectfully, even using you to prove who he is. And more paper, blaming you for all the gambling addictions. That's the turn up that Dennis has been allegedly known for. Gambling, excessive gambling, psychopath intuition. Now, this is important because psychopaths are intuitives as well. Psychopaths, people have negative intuition, where if you're dating someone, whether it's a male or female, it doesn't matter, a person that has psychopath intuition, they study you. They see what you like. They say what you want to hear. They do what you want them to do. They behave in a way, they study you so that they can make a master plan and get you. And when you're so intertwined with, you falling in love, and it's harder for you to leave, then they show their true colors, from time to time, and then they show who they are. And Kendrick goes on to say that man that like to play victim, you raised a horrible person. The nerve of you, Dennis, because he was not a man. So not being a man came from the previous generation to Drake's generation, and Kendrick is trying to make himself the therapist to give Adonis a chance to break that curse. Sandra, sit down. Now, he talked to Sandra, and I like this part because he knew right here that Sandra reading this might disagree. If you're a dismissive parent, you're going to disagree with this and be like, oh, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Just like Dennis dismissed. And several, times they ask him about Meet the Grams while he's walking. He's like, oh, that's BS. He don't care. He's completely not open to any of this. So he, at this point, felt like Sandra might interject. And he's like, now listen, what I'm about to say is heavy. Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts, and people like him should be unalive. Him and Weinstein should get jacked up in a cell for the rest of their lives. That means he's comparing him to Weinstein. He feels like he's done similar crimes, and Drake has been known to be weird. We'll say weird. With underage, a minor, on stage, to the public eye, for the public to see. And this is a very strong, accusation here. He hates black women, hypersexualize them with kinks of nympho fetish. Now, Drake has over sexualized, has over sexualized lyrics. Is always turning up with a bunch of women. He's the ultimate bachelor. He had sex offenders on OVO that he keeps on a monthly allowance. Now, say what you may, but there are people that look like they're compromised by Drake, meaning like there are people that look like they're on a payroll. They defend him to the nines, academics surrounding Drake are not as stellar citizens, and we got to raise our daughters. So predators like him will not be lurking. He said, F a rap battle, he should be unalive so all the women can have a purpose. Because what he's basically insinuating here now, they will have freedom if Drake was not in their lives. Respectfully, like something happened, God forbid, but they would have some settlement, and then they could be the authentic self. The truth will be out, and they could just raise their kids, because some of them, if they're doing it by themselves anyways, they feel like they're alone, or they just have the task to themselves. Shout out to single parents. I've been in the industry 12 years, and here's a little secret, and this is a fact. I know people that are very talented musically that, try to be signed and, have seen weird parties and have been turned off by weird stuff and never made it out to the mainstream because they refuse to partake in some strange things. They be streaming victims. Now, here's where the accusations become real. We've seen Drake online on stream with popping up on screen where there is underage people and academics. We don't need to say more. He's been disturbing with minors on stream. They leaked themselves to further push their agenda. When Drake's pictures got leaked of his personal situation, he wasn't that disturbed. He wasn't as perturbed about it. He was just like business as usual. If your pictures get leaked, and you be mortified if you don't want that to happen. And better yet, selling your nieces. So Kendrick here says, okay, think of your favorite niece. Think of a favorite sister, or think of your sister. Think of your mother, any female in your life. What if they were being used and abused, right? Cat Williams said get your truth, so I'm gonna get mine. The embassy's about to get raided. It's only a matter of time. Now, the being weird with women, that's a serious, serious situation. LeBron was friends with Drake because LeBron genuinely seems like a guy that loves music. Steph Curry, close with Drake, and he admonished both and said, keep the family away. It seems like LeBron took him on that, advice. Keep the family away, because there's a lot of stuff going on and you don't want no parts of that. And as we see LeBron being away, he is avoiding a lot of drama and Drake is crashing out over it. To anybody that embody the love for their kids, keep the family away if you love kids, because there's a lot of, to keep them safe. In verse 3, this is where the crash out, Drake's crash out began. Dear baby girl, this is serious because there's a lot of, things online, allegations of him having other children. There's pictures, if you see online, that children that look just like Drake, respectfully. And a couple of weeks ago, one of the kids that allegedly looks like Drake is now a teenager and looking more like Drake. And it was a big to do about that. He said, I'm sorry that man is your father. Again, he's offering his sympathy, just like he did in kindness to Adonis verse. He don't commit too much but his music, but that's for sure. He's a narcissist, a misogynist. So a narcissist and a misogynist is a deadly combination. A narcissist does not take responsibility. They have an inflated ego. They believe they're always right. They believe everybody's fault is at fault. And as we've seen in these lawsuits, Drake feels like he is right and he needs to have justice for himself. Inflated ego, delusional, not respecting women, trying to destroy families rather than taking care of his own. Even the pictures that we see with Drake taking pictures of with his son, they look kind of strange. Should be teaching you timetables or watching Frozen with you. Your 11th birthday, this made Twitter crash out everything. And instead he's in Turks and Caicos paying for sex, popping perks. 11th birthday, and if there's that allegations of the girl that people believe is Drake's daughter, and she was in his music videos, and there's a picture. I mean, it's just going crazy. I want to tell you that you're loved, you're brave, you got a gift that can change the world. It sounds like Kendrick knows about this child, a gift. Everyone has a gift. It can do their gift and heal through their gift, whether you go with music, with cooking, whether you're teaching, etc. Because our children are the future. But he lives inside confusion. Money's always been an illusion. He uses money to create this life of happiness that seems like he's happy, he's turning up, and that's emptiness. Because allegedly Drake is not concentrating on the family dynamic, doing family things. He doesn't have that paternal connection. That's the life he's used to. He probably don't claim, his father probably doesn't claim him either. History does repeat itself, and that's what he's doing. An interventionist breaks a cycle, tries to break a cycle for the family to heal. But I would like to say it's not your fault that he's hiding another child. This is where it just went nuts, because again, there are lots of allegations, and if all of this was to come back, and that's why Drake didn't push a T. He don't want to mess with him because Pusha T seems like an excellent investigator and can find the truth and has the truth. So he says, give him grace. The reason I made Mr. Morale so our babies can like you can cope. And in Mr. Morale, Kendrick was transparent, was put his feelings, his downfalls on the table, and also talked about healing, how he has gone through healing and is currently seeking through going through a spiritual path of doing that deep shadow work and acknowledging your mistakes and changing, evolving, changing, and learning from mistakes. I never want to hear you chase a man because his feral behavior, sitting in the club with sugar daddies for validations. You need to know that love is eternity, and that is what people believe the kid's name is, the girl's name is. And Trump's all pain. I'll tell you who your father is. Just play this song when it rains. He's a hit maker, songwriter, superstar. Yeah, but a deadbeat that should never say more life, because Drake likes to say more life. Meet the Grams. And then the final blow directly to, he leaves Drake last because he wants Drake to see how all this began. How did, the generational trauma begins, so that he can hopefully learn from it and see how it's going to affect everything and everybody and his legacy and his generation. And the legacy, if Drake doesn't fix himself, the legacy that he's going to leave is going to be a joke, a negative legacy, stained, lack of respect, so it's just going to be horrendous. Dear Aubrey, I know you probably thinking I wanted to crash your party, because Meet the Grams crashed the party. The beats, the turn up, and Drake was putting out diss tracks that were just lit, and didn't have much substance and just false accusations. But truthfully, I don't have a hating bone in my body. I believe that, Mr. Kung Fu Kenny is kind-hearted because he is an empath. As I've said before, he connects with human emotions. He is a human. He's liked by a lot of people because he shows his humanity. He smiles a real smile. He is silly. He, crashes out. He's firm. He's aggressive when he needs to be with evil things and evil people. So a lot of people are like, well, how could he do Meet the Grams? Because he despises this type of behavior. And you should understand that too. But truthfully, I don't have a hating bone in my body. This was supposed to be a good exhibition, just a fun turn up, competition, and you turn it into messed up stuff. Once you mention Kendrick's family and kids, it's a wrap. Just like Pusha T said, he don't hear nothing, he don't see anything, he's done. You had to stoop that low to discredit some decent people. You guess integrity is lost, or the metaphors don't reach you. The metaphors don't reach Drake. The metaphors don't reach Sandra, I believe, unless she has a little bit more common sense and is connected a little bit more with her divine feminine. Dennis is definitely not connected with a divine masculine. A divine masculine protects the family at all costs and thrives, makes sure the family thrives and is happy and fulfilled. But once you mention his family's name, I love that line. Integrity is lost when those metaphors don't reach you. And like I like to understand, because your house was never a home. 37, but showing up as a 7-year-old, as your son. You're just the maturity of your own son. Gambling problems, drinking problems, popping pills. And he proved it in the art cover. Bad with money, whorehouse allegedly. Soliciting women problems. Therapy's a lovely start. That's cool. You need ayahuasca, which is that deep, shadow work. It's a whole ritual with the herb, with the tea, hallucinogenic. It makes you think of your past life trauma. It's a psychedelic experience. He needs deep-rooted therapy, spiritual soul cleansing therapy, past life regression, everything, so that he can see where he started and heal and purge all that negativity and take accountability. Strip the ego. I feel you on the ayahuasca. I try to empathize, and Kendrick has done these things. Kendrick even did past life regression, and and that's why he said, I did past life regression last year and it effed me up, because it's trippy. He is willing to tap into his highest self, to the 5D world, and not just be living in the 3D world in this, Kendrick tapped into the spiritual world for spiritual healing. He's connected with spirit guides or, the universe and God. Soliciting women problem, but I suggest ayahuasca. I try to empathize, with you, because I know that you ain't been through nothing. You haven't been through experiences. You haven't been through connections with people. There's an issue here of connecting with friends, etc., of belonging. And that's why Drake comes off as a pick-me, purchasing, allegedly paying for friends, buying friendships, crave entitlement, but want to be liked so bad. It's puzzling. It's puzzling. Pick me. No dominance, no assertion. Let's recap moments when you didn't fit in. No handshakes with your friends. No culture cash to binge. Just disrespecting your mother. Identities on the fence. You don't know your identity, and that's why you go over here. You ATL. You're Jamaica. You're this. You're that. You're Canadian. Don't know which family will love you. The skin that you live in is compromising personas. Such a great writer. He should get a Pulitzer for this. Can channel your masculinity even when standing next to a woman. And a divine masculine channels a divine feminine. He is connected and can connect with the divine feminine and knows it's the yin and yang. They know how each other feels because they're empathetic. They have emotions. They could deeply connected to their emotion, and he doesn't. Your body shaming, you're going to hide them babies, ain't you? And this is where it elevates. This gets, climactic. You're embarrassed of them. That ain't what mama raised us. How mama raised us. Take the mask off. Let's see what's under all those streams, right? And we're discovering that this is still dismantling Drake. We're discovering what's under all them the so-called achievements. You never gave us nothing to believe in. Kendrick gave us all right, you, all these tracks that feel, oh my goodness, that help us heal, that give us hope. Because you lied about religious views. You lied about surgery. Because at first, Drake came out like, oh, I'm Jewish. And now you lied about your accent and your past tense. Past tense is all perjury. It's a lie. You lied about your ghostwriters. Lord have mercy, the amount of people that are claiming that wrote for Drake, and the amount of reference tracks. I mean, it speaks for itself. You lied about crew members. They all you lied on them. I know they all got you in them. Glaze Factory. You lied about your son. You lied about your daughter. You lied about all the other kids that are hoping that you come. You lied about the only artist, which is himself, Kendrick, that has offered you the truest help. And this I concur. Kendrick has offered him the truest power. Like this, Drake should send him a thank you letter for this. Because he is putting a very, cold hard facts mirror in front of Drake and letting him know, if you continue this way, your downfall will be epic, which I keep saying on my channel. Drake's downfall is going to be epic. F a rap battle. This is a long life battle with yourself. Now, he should get a Pulitzer for this. The biggest challenge is a 1v1 battle. Meaning you battling your mind, you forgiving yourself, you believing that you can, that you are worth it, that you are entitled to abundance of peace, abundance of joy, abundance of financial freedom. When you know your worth, you will not allow anyone around you to belittle you, to step all over you, and to disrespect you. So battling yourself is the biggest battle. Once you heal yourself, you become a better person, and you attract, a better partner. You attract a better life, or a life of peace. Whether you want to be with someone, date someone or not, you attract peace. And peace is priceless. Meet the Grams, a phenomenal advice, not just for Drake, but he's already healing generations with his body of work, with this song, because everyone that read this was like analyzing their own family and saying, what's going on with my family, and seeing connections and seeing things, some narcissistic parents some people have, and knowing that, and Kendrick gave hope, knowing that you can break this cycle. You can do better for your kids, or for the next generation, or just for yourself. So I love this. This is top tier. one of the best writing, one of the best songs that Kendrick, and extremely powerful for generations to come.